After listening twice to 2.5 hours of oral arguments before the Supreme Court and reviewing all the briefs related to the TikTok First Amendment arguments related to the ban, I'm going to tell you what the various different attorneys representing the United States government, the content creators, and TikTok said and what questions they were peppered with by the Supreme Court justices. And the TikTok attorney, Noah Francisco, had it roughest. Notwithstanding all that, I still think there's a 75% chance that TikTok survives this. So if you're interested in this, quick little summary, listen up. Now, the reason why TikTok had the hardest is because when you think about First Amendment rights, you think the government, if you, let's say, are interested in animal rights, they couldn't stop you from speaking out in favor of animal rights or writing an article related to animal rights or joining an animal rights organization or even protesting. Now, what TikTok is saying, which is unique, they're arguing as a company, along with their parent company, ByteDance, that the government is infringing upon their rights to access to ByteDance algorithm. So the speech here is the algorithm, and then the person being infringed upon is a company, not a person. So that is a hurdle that Francisco faced before the justices. So they did pepper the attorneys representing the content creators and the government. They didn't press them as much. So off the bat, what's the speech here? So do you want us to ignore the fact that you're owned by a Chinese company? Well, yeah, and that parent company, the Chinese company, isn't entitled to any rights, First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, otherwise. Precisely. However, so you admit there is a risk. You acknowledge that. Yeah. Yes, and the data security concern, that's serious. That's a national security concern, and you concede that that's an issue, right? Yeah, we do. However, you're saying the government is abridging your opportunity to have access to an algorithm, not traditional speech, but an algorithm, right? Yes, it is an algorithm. However, not only that, but you're saying they're abridging upon your speech, but isn't the speech abridgment really just incidental to ByteDance being divested? So it's not really like direct, right? Yeah, incidental in addition to, sure, but it's not really a direct content issue. You're really talking about freedom of association. Like you're saying the government is abridging you or stopping you from being associated with this Chinese company ByteDance. Is that really what's at issue here, right? Yeah, association, that's true. However, you also need to consider this other men, and we're talking about a company that has access to 175 million Americans, and not just that, but also their contact. Do you understand the concerns? Noah Francisco, he had some great clapbacks. His best clapback was saying, well, if the government is so concerned about the data security, they gave us 270 days to divest. And then they extended it for 90 days to accommodate the United States presidential election. So is it really a threat or concern? And then he threw in Shein and Temu and said, and if you're really concerned about data security, look at Temu and Shein. They're collecting data and they're getting credit card information. What about them? Is it really a national data concern? Why are you guys singling out us? And in any event, even if we do concede that there's a risk or national security concern, there's narrowly tailored ways to do this. You didn't have to ban us or require the divestiture. We can announce the risk to users, or we will promise not to give the data with the risk of fines and forfeitures, and we'll allow the government to even monitor. And to the extent that the United States, if ByteDance ever asks, we'll just shut down. There's a kill switch. We have lots and lots of options. This ban thing is extreme. But the government got a little bit of these justices' hands, and they asked the government, how come TikTok's solutions that they negotiated with the National Security Agreement, why aren't those solutions let it continue without an outright ban? To which the government responded, this is content neutrality. We're not telling people they can't speak. We're just saying you can't speak while associated with a foreign entity. And we don't like their options because TikTok said that data flow is necessary in order for it to run, in order for it to, you get that good algorithm juice, you needed that data flow. If they can wall it off, this is the first time we're hearing that they can wall it off. We didn't know this. About our pop-up is not acceptable because it's not going to allay our national security concerns, and a lot of kids would just ignore the pop-up anyway. The solution about saying, well, the government will be able to audit, and we promise not to do it with the risk of a forfeiture if we exchange data, is not feasible. The executive branch doesn't have the ability to do this. Oracle could barely do this. So how the hell are we going to do it? So none of those solutions actually satisfy us in terms of securing Americans' data. And what this is a game of chicken. So essentially, TikTok was hoping that either the executive, the legislature, or even you, the judiciary, will back out of this. And now they know we're serious. Maybe now that they're going to go to the table with the various different parties that have offered to say, based on all those arguments, I think there's a 75% chance. I did a video on it. At the end of the video, I explained 3 out of 4 options that will actually allow TikTok to stay. There's only one way that TikTok won't stay. So you want to see that, go check out that full video where I actually do a more thorough explanation of this video. I'm still hopeful.